Good day, everyone. So I am Dalan, and I will discuss the chapter 22, which is the substantive testing of intangible assets, goodwill, and prepaid expenses. Using the case of ABC Tax Solutions as an example. So first, I'm gonna read the case background. So you are the audit senior for ABC Tax Solutions, a company specializing in software development. The company's financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2024 report the following balances for intangible assets, goodwill, and prepaid expenses. So we have here the account balances as of December 31, 2024. We have here the intangible assets, the patents, 3 million pesos, trademarks, 1,500,000, customer list, 2,200,000. We have here also the goodwill, 5 million pesos, prepaid expenses, prepaid insurance, 600,000, and prepaid rent, 400,000 pesos. Let's proceed to the audit issues to identify. We have here the patent impairment risk. So the patent was acquired on January 1, 2020 for 4 million pesos with a 10-year useful life. So, para makuha ang 400,000, let's just divide the 4 million pesos sa atong useful life nga 10 years. So, na makuha na to ang 400,000. As of December 31, 2024, the carrying value is 3 million. Asa nakuha na to ang 3 million? Atong i-deduct ang 4 million sa 1 million nga atong accumulated amortization. So, atong mo na yung atong 3 million, atong carrying value. So, a new technology launched in 2024 may have rendered the patent obsolete. So, why nahitabo diri nga impairment test? So, let's proceed to the next one. We have here the trademark classification issue. So, the company internally developed the trademark in 2019 to 2020 and capitalized 1,500,000 instead of expensing development cost. The trademark is classified as indefinite life, but there is no formal assessment to support this classification. So why formal assessment sa para pag-support ani nga kung ano sa trademark classification? So customer list amortization check. The company acquired the customer list on January 1, 2022. So nag-acquire og kanang customer list ang company pagka January 1, 2022 for 2,500,000 with a 5-year useful life. So, 2,500,000 atong i-divide gapon sa atong useful life na 5 years. So, makuha na to ang 500,000 annual amortization. So, the carrying value as of December 31, 2024 should be 1,500,000, but the company reports 2,200,000, suggesting under amortization. Let's proceed to the goodwill impairment test missing. So, goodwill of 5 million given ganina, di ba? Arose from acquiring XYZ Innovations in 2020. Pagka 2024 kuno, ang XYZ Innovations revenue declined by 30%. But the company did not conduct an impairment test. So, ang company was sila nag-conduct og impairment testing. Next, we have here also the prepaid expenses misclassification. So, natay duha no ka prepaid expenses, the prepaid insurance and prepaid rent. So prepaid insurance policy for 1,200,000 2 years starting July 1, 2024 is recorded at 600,000. So, ngano nakuha na to ang 600,000? Tungod kay ang 1 million na to, 1,200,000, atong sidyang i-divide sa atong tuig. Nga, pila to ka tuig? Duha ka tuig. So, muna ito makuha nga 600,000. So, sa duha ka tuig, ang 600,000 ato gapon diyang i-divide sa 2 years, no? So, kining 300,000 mo na ni ang kuan kanang amount sa per year. Sa prepaid rent of 600,000, 1-year lease from October 1, 2024 is recorded at 400,000. Okay, let's dive into the audit procedures and adjustments. So, naata diri substantive procedures for each account. So, natay accounts diri. Una tong accounts is ang patents. So, unsa may audit procedure sa patents? Ang unang procedure sa patents is dapat i-inspect ang patent documentation ug i-review ang amortization schedule. Ikaduha is assess impairment indicators due to technological obsolescence. Ikatulo is dapat i-perform ang impairment test. Mao tong pag-compare sa carrying amount ug sa recoverable amount. Next is the trademarks. So, ang audit procedure sa trademarks is una, dapat i-verify if development cost meet the capitalization criteria under IAS 38 or the what we call the intangible asset. Ikaduha is assess whether the indefinite life classification is justified. Ikatulo, if not justified, estimate na to ang reasonable useful life ug atong i-apply ang amortization. Next, we have here the customer list. So, napoy o the procedure ang customer list. Una, dapat i-review ang acquisition documents para i-confirm ang purchase price and the useful life. Ikaduha is, dapat i-calculate ang amortization expense o i-compare ang recorded values. Okay, katulo is dapat i-adjust ang under amortization if necessary. No. Okay? We have here also the goodwill. So, goodwill or the procedures first is to analyze financial performance of XYZ innovations for impairment indicators. So, ang ikaduha is perform a goodwill impairment test which motong atong recoverable amount versus the carrying amount. Ikatulo is dapat i-recognize ang impairment loss if carrying amount exceeds recoverable amount. So, last is ang prepaid expenses. So, naapoy o the procedures ang prepaid expenses. So, unsa man ni? Una is dapat i-review na to ang lease and insurance contracts. Ikaduha is dapat i-ensure ang proper allocation of prepaid expenses para i-correct ang mga periods. Ikatulo is dapat i-adjust ang mga incorrect allocations if necessary. Okay, let's proceed to the adjustments and solutions. First, we have here the patent impairment adjustment. So, natay duha ka step. Unang step is calculate the net book value or atong gitawag nga NBV. So, usay atong formula sa NBV. So, atong formula is the NBV is equals to original cost minus accumulated amortization. So, naadira nakapresent ng atong solution. NBV is equals to atong original cost nga 4 million, manusan na to sa 400,000, ug atong 400,000 i-times sa 4. Muna mo equal nga 2,400,000 pesos. Step 2 is to determine recoverable amount. So, nato pag-determine sa atong recoverable amount. So, natay fair value estimate nga 1,500,000 ug atong carrying value nga 2,400,000. So, para makuha ang atong impairment loss, atong i-minus ang 2,400,000 sa atong recoverable amount ng 1,500,000. So, muna ni atong impairment loss nga 900,000 pesos. So, ang adjustment ani is to recognize an impairment loss of 900,000 pesos to reflect accurate asset value. Next is the trademark adjustment. So, we have here the incorrect capitalization nga 1,500,000 nga dapat i-expense dya under IAS 38. Atong adjustment ani is ang expense nga 1,500,000. Ang impact ani is to decrease the assets by 1,500,000 o i-increase ang expenses. Next, we have here the customer list amortization correction. So, naatay duha ka step. Una is to correct amortization calculation. So, annual amortization is equals to 2,500,000 divided by 5. So, is equals to 500,000 pesos muna itong annual amortization. Atong total annual amortization, atong i-copy itong atong annual amortization nga 500,000 ug atong i-times 3. Kaya nga nung 3, tungod kay total amortization nga year sa 2022 to 2024, 2022, 2023, and 2024. So, 500,000 times 3 is equals to 1,500,000 pesos. Correct carrying value. Atong 2,500,000, i-deduct na to sa 1,500,000. Mo nang makuha na to ang atong correct carrying value ng 1,000,000 pesos. Step 2 is ang adjustment sa customer list amortization. Una, ang atong reported customer list value nga 2,200,000 pesos. Ang atong correct value nga 1,000,000 pesos. Ug atong overstatement nga 1,200,000 pesos. Nganong overstatement man tungod kay atong reported customer list value dya kay 2,200,000. Dya ato na siyang didakan sa atong correct nga value ug mo na tumakuha ang atong overstatement nga 1,200,000 pesos. So ang adjustment ani is reduce customer list by 1,200,000 pesos to reflect the proper amortization. So let's proceed to next one. We have here the goodwill impairment. So revenue decline suggest potential impairment. So, let's just assume sa atong recoverable amount of XYZ Innovation nga 3,500,000 pesos. So, nga atong impairment loss nga formula is the carrying value minus recoverable amount. So, unsa atong carrying value? Atong carrying value is mabiya tong 5 million pesos. So, ato diyang minusan sa recoverable nga amount nga atong gi-assume sa XYZ Innovation nga 3,500,000 pesos. So, makuha na to ang impairment loss nga 1,500,000. So, muna na ang pag-reduce sa goodwill by 1,500,000 pesos. Muna ang adjustment sa goodwill impairment. Let's proceed to the prepaid expenses adjustment. So, prepaid insurance. So, gi-report ito sa company na ay 600,000 pesos. So, ang correct amount ato is ang 300,000. Para makuha na to ang adjustment nga gikinahanglan, atong i-deduct ang gi-report sa prepaid insurance ug ang correct amount sa prepaid assurance. 600,000 pesos minus 300,000 pesos, makuha na to ang reduced prepaid by 300,000 pesos. Next, we have here the prepaid rent. So, ang reported amount is 400,000, then ang correct amount is 150,000. So, ato gapon na diyang i-deduct or atong i-subtract para makuha ang atong adjustment nga gikinahanglan. Mo nang mo equal og 250,000 pesos rather. So, naadiri mo na ni ang summary sa atong adjusted balances. So, mo ni ang mga accounts, ang before nga adjustment, pag-adjust na nato og after sa adjustment. So, ang atong patents nga 3 million giminusan sa adjustment mo na nga itong makuha sa after adjustment nga 2,100,000. Atong trademarks nga before adjustment nga 1,500,000 ug sa atong adjustment nga 1,500,000 atong i-subtract mo ng 0 ang atong adjustment ana sa trademarks na to. Customer list nga 2,200,000 sa before adjustment, di pag-adjust na to nga 1,200,000 ato dyang i-deduct sa atong before adjustment, mo na makuha na tong after adjustment nga 1 million pesos. Goodwill nga 5 million before adjustment, o sa atong adjustment nga 1,500,000 ato gapon i-deduct, then makuha na to ang 3,500,000. Prepaid insurance nga 600,000, i-deduct sa 300,000, o prepaid rent nga 400,000, i-deduct sa 250,000. Muna to ang after adjustment nga prepaid insurance 300,000 pesos and prepaid rent 150 pesos. Or atong prepaid expenses nga 450 pesos. 450,000 pesos. Rather. So, thank you for your listening, and let's proceed to the next chapter, which is the chapter 23.
Good day everyone, I am Ashley J. Acsibar from BSA 3B, and I'm going to discuss about the chapter 23, Intangible Asset, in Auditing and Assurance Concepts and Application, Part 2. So here are the following terms that we will discuss about. First is the intangible asset, second, amortization, third is the patent, fourth is the copyright, fifth, franchise, and last is about the trademark. So first, what is intangible asset? Intangible asset is an undefinable, non-monetary asset without physical substance. Intangible asset is a valuable source that has no physical form. It's something a company owns that contributes to its value but can't be touched or seen. Example, copyrights, trademarks, brand recognition, and goodwill. So, the initial recognition of intangible asset, past 38 requires an entity to recognize an intangible asset if and only if it meets the definition of an identifiable asset. It is probable that the future economic benefits that are attributable to the asset will flow to the entity, and the cost of the asset can be measured reliably. So what is the initial measurement of intangible asset? Intangible assets are initially measured at cost. Cost is which the amount of cash or cash equivalent paid or the fair value of the consideration given to acquire an asset at the time of its acquisition. So next, what is the amortization? Amortization is the systematic allocation of the amortizable amount or intangible asset over its useful life. So, amortization is like spreading out the cost of an intangible asset over its useful life. Similar siya sa depreciation for tangible assets but for things you can touch. Next, a patent is an exclusive right granted by the government giving the holder thereof to exclusively use, manufacture, and sell a product or process for a period of 20 years without interference or infringement by other. So the term of a patent shall be 20 years from the filing date of the application. So ang patent, it is like a legal document that gives an inventor exclusive rights sa ilang mga invention for a certain period. It's like a permission slip that says you can't copy this. Kanang document nga dili nimo pwede kapihon. Mo na gitawag nga patent. Next is how to amortize patent or the amortization of patent. The original cost should be amortized over the legal life or useful life, whichever is shorter. So, dapat ma-amortize ang original cost over the legal life or useful life, whichever is shorter. Second, competitive patent was acquired. So, the competitive patent and the old patent should be amortized over the remaining life of the old patent. Then third is related patent. First is the extension of life. Related patent, together with the old patent, should be amortized over the extended life. And second is the no extension of life. The new related patent should be amortized over its own life, while the old patent should be amortized over the remaining life of the old patent. So the fourth term is about the copyright. So we already have a brief knowledge about what is copyright, kay na-tackle naman ni nato siya sa mga previous nato nga mga lessons or discussions. So a copyright is an exclusive right granted by the government to the author, composer, or artist, enabling him to establish, sell, or otherwise benefit from his literary, musical, or artistic work. So copyright is the right of an author shall last during the lifetime of the author and for 50 years after his death and shall not be assignable or subject to license. So copyright, it is a type of intellectual property that protects original work of authorship or creator sa mga books, music, arts, software, or films. So next, napoy amortization of copyright. So here, the amortization should be based on the copyright's useful life. However, it is acceptable in practice to directly write off the cost of the copyright against the revenue of the first printing. Next is about the franchise. So franchise is an agreement in which one party called the franchisor sidya ang mo-grant sa mga certain rights to another party called the franchisee. So a franchise is like a business partnership where a company, sidya ang the franchisor, then sidya ang mo-grant sa another company, which is the franchisee, the right to use its brand, product, and business model. So here, the amortization of franchise is first granted for a definite period, amortized over the useful life or definite period, whichever is shorter. Then, granted indefinitely, it shall not be amortized but rather tested for impairment at least annually. The last intangible asset is about trademark. So, trademark or mark means any visible sign capable of distinguishing the goods or the trademark or services or service mark of an enterprise and shall include a stamp or marked container of goods. So katong kanang mga container nga na naka-stamp nga mga pangan sa ilang enterprise is kitawag nga trademark or service mark. While ang trade name, it means the name or designation identifying or distinguishing an enterprise. So, mga trade name is katong money ang mag-identify or mag-distinguish sa unsa nga enterprise. So again, trademark is a unique symbol, design, phrase, or word that identifies a specific product or service from those company. So the amortization of trademark, the legal life of trademark is 10 years and may be renewed for periods of 10 years each. Because of easy renewals of the life of the trademark, an entity may appropriately classify this as an intangible asset with indefinite life. Therefore, the cost of a trademark is not amortized but subject to test for impairment at least annually. So let's try to answer this comprehensive problem to understand how to get the amortization expense of patent, trademark, non-competition, carrying amount of goodwill, and the carrying amount of intangible asset. Problem is about Azon Incorporated reported other non-current asset account balances on December 3, 2020 as follows. Patent amounting to 384,000, accumulated amortization amounted to 48,000, and the net patent is equal to 36,000. So the transactions during 2021 and other information relating to Azon's other non-current assets included the following. The patent was purchased from Ruby Company on January 2, 2019, when the remaining legal life was 16 years, and on January 2, 2021, Azon determined that the remaining useful life of the patent was only 8 years from the date of its acquisition. On January 3, 2021, in connection with the purchase of a trademark from Golden Corporation, the parties entered into a non-competition agreement. Azon paid Golden 1,600,000 pesos, of which 3/4 related to the trademark and 1/4 reflected Golden's agreement not to compete for a period of 5 years in the line of business covered by the trademark. Azon considers the life of the trademark to be indefinite. While on January 3, 2021, Azon acquired all the non-cash assets and assumed all liabilities of White Company at a cash purchase price of 2,400,000 pesos. Azon determined that the fair value of the net asset acquired in the transaction is 1,600,000 pesos. So here are the solutions to our problems. In question number 1, what is the amortization expense of the patent in 2021? So our solution process is the patent was initially purchased with a 16-year useful life. On January 2, 2021, the remaining useful life was revised to 8 years. The net book value of the patent on January 2, 2021 was 336,000. Therefore, the annual amortization expense is 336,000 divide mo sa 8 years useful life equals to 42,000 pesos. Therefore, our answer here is letter C, 42,000. It is because the amortization is the systematic allocation of the cost of an intangible asset over its useful life. Changes in estimated useful life require a recalculation of the amortization expense. So the question number 2 is, what is the amortization expense of the trademark in 2021? So our solution process is, the problem states that the life of the trademark is indefinite. Indefinite life intangible assets are not amortized. Instead, they are tested for impairment annually. Therefore, our answer here is none, or letter B. Because intangible assets with indefinite useful lives are not amortized, their value is reviewed periodically for impairment. So for the question number 3, what is the amortization expense of the non-competition agreement in 2021? Our solution process here is that the non-competition agreement has a 5-year life, which is the one quarter of the 1,600,000 total cost relates to the trademark, and 3/4 or 1,200,000 pesos. Mo na ang atong 1/4 nga gikuan sa gikan sa 1,600,000. So the annual amortization is 1,200,000 divide 5 years equals 240,000. So our answer here is none, or letter B, because the cost of a non-competition agreement is amortized over its useful life. So for our question number 4, what is the carrying amount of goodwill as of December 31, 2021? Our solution process here is the goodwill is calculated as the excess of the purchase price over the fair value of net assets acquired. So the purchase price was 2,400,000 and the fair value of net assets was 1,600,000. Therefore, goodwill is i-minus nimo sila, which is the 2,400,000 minus 1,600,000 equals 800,000. Goodwill is not amortized. It is tested for impairment. Therefore, our answer here is letter A, 800,000 pesos. And for the last question, what is the total carrying amount of intangible assets as of December 31, 2021? So, the total carrying amount of intangible assets, this requires summing the carrying amounts of all intangible assets. Itong mga patent, the total amount of the patent, the trademark, non-competition agreement, goodwill, and goodwill. So, our patent is amounted to 336,000 minus 42,000 equals 294. Mo na atong patent. Then, sa trademark, 1,200,000, this is the portion of the purchase price attributed to the trademark. It is not amortized. Then, our non-competition agreement, 1,200,000 minus sayang 240,000 nga expense, which is a total amount of 960,000. And our goodwill amounted to 800,000 pesos. So, ato na silang i-add tanan. So, mo come up ni si Jaog summation nga 3,254,000. Because none of the options provided are correct. So, ang atong answer here is 3,254,000. Because the carrying amount of an intangible asset is its cost less accumulated amortization, if applicable. The total carrying amount is the sum of the carrying amounts of all intangible assets. So that's all about the intangible assets. I hope you gained some, and thanks for listening.
Good day everyone. We will be talking about the Chapter 24, Evaluation, Impairment, and Non-Current Assets Held for Sale. We will be providing two illustrations for us to better comprehend about this chapter. First illustration, evaluation about regarding tax implications. An entity acquired a building on January 1, 2018 at a cost of 10 million pesos. The building had a useful life of 6 years and residual value of 1 million pesos. The building was revalued on January 1, 2021, and the valuation revealed replacement cost of 15 million pesos, residual value of 2 million pesos, and residual useful life of 8 years from the date of acquisition. So here are the following required questions. Number 1, what is the revaluation surplus on January 1, 2021? What is the revaluation surplus on December 31, 2021? And prepare all the necessary entries in 2021. So number 1, what is the revaluation surplus on January 1, 2021? So to compute, we will determine the carrying amount as of the date of valuation under the cost model. Then determine the sound value under the revaluation model. So here's the building, which cost 10 million pesos from the cost model, and from the revaluation model of 15 million pesos. And to determine the appreciation, we will deduct the 15 million pesos from the 10 million pesos, which results to 5 million pesos, and the accumulated depreciation of 4,500,000 pesos under the cost model, 6,500,000 pesos under the revaluation model, which results to 2 million pesos. So 10 million pesos deducted by 4,500,000 pesos equals to 5,500,000 pesos. Under the revaluation model, 15 million pesos minus 6,500,000 pesos, which equals to 8,500,000 pesos, and the appreciation of 5 million pesos minus 2 million pesos equals 3 million pesos. So to determine that the 3 million is accurate or correct, make sure that the cost model and the revaluation model, when deducted, is also resulted as 3 million pesos from the appreciation. So 8,500,000 pesos minus 5,500,000 pesos equals 3 million pesos. So how to get the accumulated depreciation from the cost model and the revaluation model? So we have the formula of accumulated depreciation equals cost minus salvage value over useful life times age. So the cost model, the cost is 10 million pesos of the building minus 1 million pesos of salvage value divided by the useful life of 6 times the age of 3, which results to 4,500,000 pesos, which will be listed here in the cost model under the accumulated depreciation. And the revaluation model, which also na ay different nga formula, accumulated depreciation equals revalued amount minus salvage value over useful life times age. So the revalued amount as cited in the problem, 15 million pesos minus the salvage value of 2 million pesos, and divided into 6, which is the useful life, times 3, which is the age. O imo na lang siya isolve, mo result of 6,500,000 pesos man ang age na ibutang dire sa nasa cost model. So 6,500,000 pesos minus 4,500,000 pesos, which total results the accumulated depreciation of 2 million pesos in depreciation. So na-kompleto na ang atong requirement 1. So requirement 2, what is the revaluation surplus on December 31, 2021? So here is the answer. Revaluation surplus on January 1, 2021, 3 million pesos nga nakuha gikan diriya sa balance. So malag itong revaluation surplus less piecemeal realization of 600,000 pesos and the revaluation surplus of which results in the revaluation surplus on December 31, 2021 of 2,400,000 pesos. Sorry guys, double na also what? Or naapay kanang alternative on how to compute the revaluation surplus on this problem. Pwede po siya makalculate based on the remaining useful life of the building. So di man jud ang natiwas o gamit ang building kaya nag-revaluation man, diba? So 3 million pesos cited here, imo sudyang i-divide of 5 years nga nahibilin times 4 years. Manang ma-equals po siya og 2,400,000 pesos. So lain siya nga process pero same or gihapon siya og result. So last is the necessary journal entries in 2021. So after na to mag-solving ato, dapat yun ta mag-provide ng journal entries to that represent our kanang mga adjustments. So to better kanang makita dyan nato ang atong pag-evaluate sa building. So January 1, 2021, building, i-debit ni mo si John to 5 million pesos. Then, i-credit ni mo ang accumulated depreciation and the revaluation surplus of 200,000 pesos and 2 million pesos and 3 million pesos respectively. And so, December 31, 2021, depreciation expense of 1,300,000 pesos. I-credit ni mo ang accumulated depreciation ngayon ato pang i-compute og 8,500,000 pesos minus 2 million pesos i-divide ni mo sa 5 years manang 1,300,000 pesos. And under po sa same date kay mag-compute po ta sa revaluation surplus inighuman sa depreciation expense kay nag-record ng tawag accumulated depreciation, revaluation surplus of 600,000 pesos, and credit the retained earnings 3 million pesos over 5 years. Kay 5 years na ang useful life sa building, which is 600,000 pesos. So that is the first illustration under the chapter 24.
Hello everyone! Today, we're going to walk through a series of accounting calculations related to asset valuation. We'll be focusing on depreciation, revaluation, and impairment. These are crucial concepts for understanding how a company's assets change in value over time. So, as you can see, na-type problem sa chapter 24. So, illustration, revaluation and impairment of PPE. On January 1, 2019, James Russell Company acquired 2 classes of property, plant, and equipment. Data relating to asset follow. So classes, machinery has useful life of 5 years, which costs 1 million. And office equipment has useful life of 4 years, which costs 500,000. So both are straight line methods. The company uses the cost model for the machinery and revaluation model for the office equipment. On January 1, 2020, the following are the recoverable amounts, fair values of the assets. Machinery, 900,000 pesos. Office equipment, 498,000. On January 1, 2021, the following are the recoverable amounts, fair value of the assets. Machinery, 500,000 pesos. Office equipment, 247,000. Required, based on the above data, compute for the following. So first requirement is the total depreciation in 2019. So let's start with requirement 1. Calculating depreciation for 2019. Remember, depreciation is how we account for the gradual wear and tear of assets. We're using the simple straight line method here. So, as you can see, solution. So, requirement 1. So, machinery, cost ni is 1 million. I-divide ni mo siya sa useful life nga 5 years. Multiply by number of months, 12 over 12. So, natay 200,000 pesos. And office equipment, cost niya is 500,000 pesos. Divide by useful life nga 4 years, multiply by number of months, 12 over 12. So, naatay 125,000 pesos. So, para makuha mo ang depreciation expense, is i-add mo sila. So, 200,000 plus 125,000. So, naatay total depreciation expense nga 325,000. So, next is requirement 2. This one involves evaluation. Sometimes, an asset's market value changes significantly. Here at the start of 2020, the office equipment's fair value was higher than its book value. So, the difference is the revaluation surplus. So, muna siya ang solution sa requirement 2. So, office equipment cost
nga 500,000 pesos, accumulated depreciation 125,000 pesos. So i-minus nimo sila, so naatay cost nga 375,000 pesos. So ang fair value is 498,000 pesos. So i-minus nimo ang cost of fair value, mao nang makuha nimo ang revaluation surplus nga 123,000 pesos. So next is requirement 3, the total depreciation in 2020. So requirement 3 is similar to requirement 1, but now we use the revalued amount for the office equipment. The machinery's depreciation remains the same. So mo na siya ang solution sa number 3. So machinery na cost nga 1 million pesos divide by useful life ni nga 5 years multiply by number of months nga 12 over 12, so nasjay 200,000 pesos. And office equipment, revalued amount nga 498,000 pesos divide by remaining life nga 3 years multiply by number of months nga 12 over 12, so nasjay 166,000 pesos. So i-add, para makuha nimo ang total depreciation expense, i-add nimo silang duha. So 200,000 pesos plus 166,000 is 366,000 pesos. Mao ang total depreciation expense. Next is requirement number 4, the total impairment loss and the income statement and 2021. Machinery at cost na 1 million pesos. Less ni diya sa accumulated depreciation nga 400,000 mo nang na book value January 1, 2021 nga 600,000. So less na po siya sa recoverable amount nga 500,000. So, nadjay impairment loss nga 100,000. So, next is office equipment. The office equipment was previously revalued to 498,000 pesos. This is likely a result of an earlier market valuation exceeding the book value. So, less siya sa subsequent accumulated depreciation nga 166,000 mo na book value January 1, 2021 nga 332,000 pesos. Less na po siya sa recoverable amount nga 247,000 mo nang na revaluation decrease nga 85,000 pesos. Sunod, less na po din mo siya sa reversal of revaluation surplus mo nang naajay 82,000. So mo nang ijang impairment loss is 3,000. So, ang total impairment loss is 103,000 pesos. Next is revaluation surplus, January 1, 2020. So, less siya sa excess of depreciation on revalued amount over its cost, piecemeal realization of revaluation surplus. So, depreciation at revalued amount, 166,000 pesos. Depreciation at cost nga 125,000. So, mo nang na si Jai koan. Mo ni Jai ang depreciation at cost nga 41,000. So, next is mo nang ijang i-minus nini mo silang duha kaning 123,000 pesos o 41,000 mo nang nadya remaining revaluation surplus nga koan 82,000 pesos. So, the piecemeal realization of revaluation surplus may also be computed as follows. So, revaluation surplus, 123,000 pesos, divide by remaining life ni nga 4. So, ang piecemeal realization of revaluation surplus is 41,000 pesos. So, last is requirement 5, the remaining revaluation surplus on December 31, 2021. So, requirement number 5, zero remaining revaluation surplus was all charged to decrement in asset. See solution to requirement number 4. So, requirement 5's answer is zero remaining revaluation surplus directly reflects the accounting principle outlined in PAS 16. Remember, PAS 16 states that any decrease in value following a revaluation should be charged against the revaluation surplus first. Requirement 5 confirms that this principle was applied completely, so the entire remaining surplus was used to offset the impairment loss, so leaving a zero balance.